Howdy, soldiers. It's only the second week of December and my seasonal depression has fully set in, which does not bode well for the new year. Even book baddies can get big saddies, and what do we do in that situation? We make ourselves some tea, we put on a big comfy sweater, I turn on every set of string lights in my apartment. It looks like a Michael's craft store threw up in here. And we talk about books on the internet. 2024 reading has been good. I didn't really have a plan for my reading this year, and if you look at my Goodreads profile, it shows. Now, I understand that is the curse of being a mood reader, especially if someone says I have to read something. No, I don't. I will let that thing collect dust until I die. But I realize that going in with no plan is actually kind of a bad plan. So I would like to reevaluate some habits for the new year and maybe give myself a little bit more structure for 2025. 2025. We're going to be in the middle of the 2020s. Help. Today's video is going to be a little more chill, a little bit more laid back. We can just discuss things. We'll just have a little chit chat. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in. Join me. Let's talk about some reading goals that I'm going to be setting for myself in 2025. Actually, maybe we should just say bookish goals. Maybe we're changing the title of this video at the 11th hour, because another goal of mine this year is to get another bookshelf. Because in January, I'm planning on doing some home renovations. I'm going to paint. I'm going to put up wallpaper. I'm going to retile my kitchen. Like, HGTV wishes they had me right now. And in those renos, I'm planning on replacing some of my furniture, and that will probably mean I'll have a little bit more space. And what do I do with more space? I fill it with books. Because at the beginning of the year, I cleared out like 3 whole shelves worth of space on these bookcases. And ask me how many shelves there are free now. Actually, I will not be taking questions at this time. Speaking of bookshelves, I feel like I am well known for my heinous TBR bookcase, and it has once again gotten completely out of control. Don't know how this keeps happening. I haven't bought a book in a long time. That's wrong. I literally did a book haul last month, but the bookcase has fallen into disorder and chaos, and my TBR pile has just multiplied. It's just spread to different parts around my apartment. Like, I swear I go to bed at night and then I wake up and the romance novels have copulated and there's 3 more of them than there was when I went to sleep. How does this keep happening? It's something that I have been implementing over the last couple of years, but this 2025, we're cracking down on this, and that is simply that I want to take in less. Now, this is a bit of a double-edged sword, no pun intended, but because I am a book blogger, my job is a little bit to overconsume. And of course, the book dragon inside me loves to hoard pretty shiny things that I can just pile up and then sit on like my little mound of treasure. And there's a much bigger discussion on consumerism that I've literally had on this channel multiple times. But 2025 is the year that I want to take in less. We're going to go quality over quantity. So a rule I'm going to try and do in the new year is, unless that book is a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 on the visceral want scale, that it's somewhere inside of me, then I won't buy it or I won't request it. If I look at something and I go, oh, that looks like kind of cool. Yeah, maybe I'm meaning to read that. Nope. No. If you're not in, you're out. And this also goes for publisher request forms, because oh my God, there is nothing like the rush of when the publisher's advanced copy request form hits your inbox. And of course, I'm very grateful that so many people want to work with me and want to send me things, and that's so nice, and I get the most wonderful feeling. But I think I have learned my lesson when it comes to overbooking myself when I say yes to accepting things or yes to being a part of too many tours or review letters, and I can't do it. I need to scale back. Relating to the TBR, my goal every month is to read 2 books from my TBR backlist. There's books on there from like, I don't even know if I want to say that year. Let's just say that I have advanced copies of first books in a series, and the series is fully now out. And what makes it worse is it's out in paperback as well. The tricky balance to strike in my own brain, and literally as part of my book blogging, of reading things that come out right away so that I can review them and like do the book blogger thing, but also reading things that, I've accumulated over the years, or that I thrifted. That's a book from a couple years ago that no one really cares about anymore, but I still want to read it. See, this is why I'd be a bad mother, because I'm neglecting dozens of book children, but I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be able to have fun with whatever book I want, regardless of what year it came out. Opposite / parallel to that is that going forward, I would like to read at least one new author every month. And by new, I mean new to me. So that could be a debut author who put out their book like last month, or it could be somebody who has a vast array of a backlist behind them, but I've just never picked them up. Because while I am absolutely not complaining that, Tasha Suri and Samantha Shannon and V.E. Schwab and Ava Reed are getting more books published, like, girl, give, please. Because I feel like recently a lot of the books that I've read have been by authors that I already know and love. And well, yes, that is kind of part of my clear out the backlist plan of reading whatever I have. I want to make sure that I am prioritizing new voices. Another goal, which may be the hardest goal on this entire list, I want to read, no, not want, I am going to read at least one sequel every month until all of my sequels are gone. I am notoriously well known for purchasing and then never reading sequels, and I want to change this about myself. I want to fundamentally switch up my DNA and finish some goddamn series. Do you have any idea how many sequels are on my TBR pile? I'll be right back. All right, let's have a look at this. Okay, so 1 and 2 already. 3, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the floor. 18, 19, 23, 24. And then on my nightstand, we have 26, 27. 27 sequels. 27! That's embarrassing. I have so many series and duologies on these shelves that I've read the first one of, and I loved it, and I've immediately gone out and bought the sequel, and then it's just sat there, alone, abandoned. This year, especially, I've been drawn more to standalones because I just don't have the energy to continue on with a series. And like, sequels are hard to both read and write. The characters and the world aren't fresh and new and exciting anymore, but sequels are there for a reason. They're there to extend the story. They're there to offer you so much more of the world and the emotions and the conflict, and I want to be a part of that. TBH, mostly I want the satisfaction of being able to see the full series lined up on my shelf. I'm a fiend for the aesthetic, and if that's what gets me reading sequels, so be it. And relating to that, oh my god, I'm doing so good at these segues today. I want to read at least one full series or duology. And I don't mean read the final book of a duology or a trilogy and like finish it. Though I do want to do that. See previous Sequelgate 2025 joke. I mean that I have multiple duologies and sequels sitting on my TBR pile where I have all the books of the series and I haven't read it. So we have 2 and 3 of Stacey McEwen's Ledge series. I also have the Godly Heathens duology, along with the first 3 books of the Realm of the Fae series by Ben Alderson. I think there's a 4th, but I'm getting sent it, so then I'll have all 4. I have the Sing Me to Sleep duology. I have Bladebreaker and Fatebreaker, 2 of Victoria Aveyard's Realmbreaker series. I also have Kingsbane and Lightbreaker. Don't look at those. But see, my problem has been I don't want to put that forward in a book video because it's not very exciting if I say, here, I read a whole series and I can only give you like a minute's worth of stuff because I don't want to spoil anything, but no more. 2025 is going to be the year of Rachel being selfish, so I'm very sorry if you think that's boring, but I want to read some goddamn sequels. The next 2 goals are 2 of a pair. The first goal is to DNF more books. I will say I think I did a pretty good job this year of not reading things that I really didn't like. Usually when I pick up a book that I'm not super certain about, I'll give it 100 pages. That to me is usually about a third. It's enough for me to establish the voice and the world and the characters and their flaws, maybe kind of get over a hurdle if I'm like, oh, this voice is not what I was expecting. As 2025 is going to be Rachel's selfish corner year, I do feel like maybe I'm going to lower that standard. Maybe 80 pages, maybe 50 pages. The future is uncertain. Not even really about being meaner, it's just reorganizing my priorities. I want to realize when I don't care about something and then just stop reading it. A lot of things I was like, this was fine, like I liked it, this was fine. And I don't want to keep reading things that are just fine. 2025, if a book is mid, oh my god, why did my elbow make that sound? If it's not giving it's gone. On the flip side of that, the other goal of mine is to give more books 5 stars. Not only am I a full-time career woman, but I am also a full-time hater. It is very difficult for me to give books 5 stars, be it my ex-gifted kid privileges or some kind of unpacked childhood trauma or the just plain simple fact that I was trained as an English major for like 15 years. I'm just like, there's always room for improvement. I have plenty of friends, including my girlfriend, who is just like, oh, I liked it, 5 stars. And like, I wish I could be so free. Writing books is hard. Writing books that cater to me specifically is even harder. And even in books that I absolutely love, like my favorite book is The Starless Sea. And it makes absolutely no sense. And that's why I love it. And looking back on it, that is a book I gave 5 stars. I don't think I would give it 5 stars now, even though it like spoke to some piece of my dark, black, rotted heart. Because hey, just because you had a little pacing issue in the middle, or the end romantic kiss didn't make my own heart explode, doesn't mean that you are any less of a star. Though of course it is important to critique the things that we read and look at all media that we consume with a critical lens. I wish to acknowledge more of my enjoyment by rating more books 5 stars in 2025. The next pair of goals is a duo that's going to make me literally put my money where my mouth is, because I am both a paying user of Kindle and Audible, and I don't know for how much longer I'm going to be that. To my credit, book jokes, I've read more nonfiction books in 2024 than I ever have before on purpose, and it's mostly been because of my Audible credits, because I've been listening to nonfiction books while, getting groceries and being on long car rides. But I don't think I'm using my Audible subscription to its fullest. There's been a couple months where I've just forgotten to listen to something, and then it rolls over, and then, I accidentally paid for another month when I completely forgot about it. And yes, I have paused my account before, but then 3 months goes faster than you expect. So then sometimes I'm picking things kind of at random, and then I realize afterward, I should have used it on, this one, or I just don't get around to finishing it before the month is up, so I don't want to cancel it because I want to finish the book first, but then I have to pay for the next month over, and it's just a vicious cycle. So I might keep my Audible subscription for another month or 2, or maybe I'll cancel it tonight. I don't know. But a goal of mine is to figure out what I'm doing with that. Also, $15 a month per book. Like, I know that's actually a pretty good deal, but considering that I forget about it sometimes, not a good deal. And that's what? Book girl math. And then similarly, I have the Kindle app on my phone, and every couple of months I get an email notification telling me they're raising the price again, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just take it. I don't have an e-reader because that's just another device that I have to buy and upkeep and could possibly get stolen. So I was like, I'll put it on my phone, and then if I'm on the SkyTrain or if I'm stuck in the grocery line, I can read a book wherever I want to. Wow, modern technology. I find myself not reading a lot of ebooks anymore. I'm much more willing to listen to something or to read my physical book. So I forget that it's there, and it's expensive to forget about something for $12.99 each month. I tried to revamp it for myself in October, beginning of November, where I went to Kindle Unlimited and loaded up my app with as many things as I wanted to. I was like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna read this. And I also, yet again, completely forgot about it until I was making this list yesterday. So look how that turned out. Probably keep it for another month or so, but my goal around this is to use it or lose it. God, think of all the money that millennials would be saving if we just canceled our online book subscriptions and stopped eating avocado toast. I could own a house by now. Also, conveniently relating to the last point, is another goal of mine is to bring my physical books with me on transit more. I don't own a car, and I go places. I have lots of places that I transit on, and so every week I'm spending at least a couple hours on a bus, on a SkyTrain, or more often waiting for said bus or SkyTrain. But I've gotten into kind of a bad habit over the last 4 or 5 months, and that's just I haven't been bringing books with me because I don't want to have to rearrange my bag, or I don't know, I'll just listen to a podcast again. I don't want to have to bring it. And honestly, it's made me a worse person. Thankfully, I'm somebody who usually can read on transit without getting sick, and I'm just not using that time to its full potential. A goal for 2025 is to stop being a baby and start bringing my physical books with me, because there will inevitably be a 15 to hour long section of my transit where, I could be immersed in a whole other world with enemies to lovers and dragons and magic swords. And instead, I'm standing on a platform somewhere listening to a podcast that I've already listened to 3 times and wishing that I had a book with me. and then not using my Kindle app. And I do realize that in these situations, I am the problem. All right, winding down to the end, my second to last goal is that, damn it, I want to be in a book club in 2025. Now, I've given this basically no thought, so I don't know what this looks like. I don't know if I join one on Fable or I join one in real life, or if I can't find a book club that I vibe with, at least a buddy read. Like, I just want to be able to live tweet my emotions at someone, because for the most part, even if I'm reading a book that just came out, usually I read the whole thing and then, I talk about it on the internet, and that has a distinct lag of fangirling time. This last year, I've been to a couple of the book clubs that my girlfriend is a part of that, like, I've also just happened to have read the book around the same time that her book club is reading them, so I'll like pop in, I can have like a fun guest star moment. I just want some camaraderie, right? Okay, it's getting crazy out there and it's only gonna get wilder in 2025, so I just want to be able to share some literary companionship with someone. And lastly, I've saved the biggest for last because I want to read more big books. Because I like big books and I cannot lie. Priory of the Orange Tree broke me, okay? If I see that a book is over like 300 pages, I will look at it twice. Just intimidating when you see something that is like tall and thick and it's just, you can't picture yourself finishing it, so you have to like mentally prepare yourself and like dive in. How do I not make this sound like an innuendo? But in my picky selections, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of especially epic high fantasy books that I want to be able to absorb the story from. I take one look at a book that has 400 pages and I go, oh, that's gonna take me forever. I don't want to have to spend half of a month reading it. I'll go read the like 200-page rom-com. And then that 400-page novel gathers dust. And then what do I have to show at the end of the year but a stack of like 400-page novels that I never ever got to, that I could have finished half of if I had just started at the beginning of the year. Girl Goddess Queen by B. Fitzgerald, 474 pages, big book. The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, 484 pages, big book. The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, 518 pages, big book. Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare, 604 pages, a very large lady. Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, 617 pages, the biggest book. But also my track record for reading like 400 or 500-page books is not bad at all. I can legally blonde it's hard myself through like a 600-page fantasy novel in like a week. Because while I may not be able to lie about me liking big books, I may be lying to myself about my ability to finish them. I'm realizing that all of my goals basically come down to stop being afraid of my own books. And that is that on that. Thank you everybody for joining me today, going over my reading goals for 2025. Are these realistic? I think so. Will I be sticking to all of them? Remains to be seen. No, I do. I really want to stick to these goals. I want to meet them in whatever capacity that I can. I want to read more sequels. I want to rate more things 5 stars. I want to be able to finish more high epic fantasies so I can get them off that shelf and into my heart. As always, please leave down below your 2025 reading goals. Perhaps you guys can inspire each other in the comments and maybe inspire me a little bit as well. Because the goals in this video are things I want to actively engage with and aim for. And there are a couple of other goals I have that are just kind of nebulously floating around in the ether. But like, I want to read 100 books next year. But like, I usually read 100 books. So maybe I could be like, oh, maybe I'll think about like a stretch goal. But that's not a high priority right now. Or like, oh, I want to engage less with Goodreads. I want to kind of phase Goodreads out. But I've already been kind of doing that for a year, so it's not like a front burner activity. It's more of like a back burner activity. Speaking of front burners, I was gonna make myself lunch like an hour ago and then forgot. So I probably should go and start doing that. I don't know if you can tell on the lighting from the video, but the sun ended up coming out and like, oh my God, I feel so much better already. I'm cured. But no, I'm pumped. I'm juiced. I'm excited for everything that I'm gonna read in 2025. My most anticipated list is like as long as my arm and it grows every single day. Publishers, this isn't helping my like stop accepting things and stop buying things, because I swear like every other day you're releasing something that I'm like, ooh, add to cart, and then it's just, this is getting out of hand. You know where I click to like the video. You know where I click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!